Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekday morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about Bitcoin because right now it's sitting at $30,600, just ever so slightly below the all-time local, not the all-time high, the yearly high that we set a couple of months ago on April 15th, where Bitcoin topped out at around $30,900. Right now we're sitting just a couple of $100 below that in a major symmetrical triangle pattern that could push Bitcoin farther to the upside. So we're going to break down in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto where Bitcoin is and where Bitcoin is going next. So let's go ahead and read some chat. I really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Thank you guys so very much. Matt Chandler in chat said, hi, easy, oh my, Joe Bollier, Schmedley B, what's up, Schmedley? Godson Obayazi, hello from Nigeria, hello to you. Dragon Ball Crypto, James Sachs and Blue Collar Crypto, welcome to the stream, guys. We're gonna go ahead and jump straight on over to CoinMarketCap. Really appreciate all of you for tuning in. Right now, Bitcoin, as I said, is trading at $30,620, up 1.22% in the last 24 hours, up 1.51% in the last 7 days. You can see Ethereum is currently trading at 1860. It is basically sideways on the 24-hour time scale. It is down slightly over the last 7 days, but the rest of the cryptocurrencies have not performed quite as well in the last 7 days. They've had general downtrends across the board, from BNB being down 5% in the last 7 days to XRP and Cardano being down 5 and 6% respectively. Dogecoin's down on the weekly. Solana and Tron are up slightly. Polkadot is up quite dramatically. The cryptocurrencies obviously have not been faring the best ever since the Securities and Exchange Commission came out and attacked the cryptocurrency space in a massive one fell swoop attack against pretty much everything except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Came out against two of the largest companies in the industry, one of the biggest names in the industry, and about 60 of the biggest altcoins in the industry, all in the same day. Huge, huge, huge attack on crypto from the SEC on June 5th. And so now we are kind of seeing the aftermath of that. Bitcoin has been rallying exponentially, but the altcoins have not. So the question now becomes, can Bitcoin continue this charge into a new bull market? And so one of the things I want to talk about even before we get onto the actual price action chart is to look at the dominance. If we look at the market dominance here on Bitcoin, it has continued to move to the upside. Even just looking at the last couple of days, it has moved up dramatically following this rally that we saw a week and a half ago. Bitcoin was sitting at 48.45% market dominance. It has continued its ascent all the way up to 50.4. If you'll recall, we've spoken at length about how in the history of Bitcoin, whenever a bull market ensues, it is typically preceded and correlated with a major run on Bitcoin's market dominance. We saw that happen at the end of 2019, mid-2018, moving on into 2019. By 2019, when the bull market had actually begun, we saw Bitcoin's market dominance rally from 50 to 70%. If we look back on the history of Bitcoin, that rally on market dominance corresponds with this movement right here. Bitcoin originally increased market dominance during the bear market as the altcoins fell away, and then increased market dominance once again, moving from 35% dominance back here all the way up to 70% dominance right here, more than doubling his market dominance, leading to a massive bull market. Bitcoin led the charge. Bitcoin is the leader in the space, and as somebody who is and has been a leader of a company, a leader of a family, and a leader of course, friends and whatnot, I can tell you right now that if you want change in an organization, or if you want change in a family, if you want change anywhere, then the leader has to change. It's not the second in command. It's not the third in command. It's not the 72nd in command that has to change. It is the leader. And so Bitcoin being the leader of the cryptocurrency space, it is the one that really has to kick off this rally because it has that leadership position. And so if we want something to change in the cryptocurrency industry, we must first see a change in Bitcoin. And so that is what I believe we're seeing. I believe we're seeing a change in Bitcoin dramatically Similar to how we saw during the last bull market cycle, we saw a major run on market dominance, but if we look here right now, we can see that there is a run on market dominance beginning once again. We have seen a run from 38.34% just following the fall of FTX back in November of last year, all the way up to 50.4% where we currently sit at this very moment in time. And we're very excited to see that because Bitcoin and Ethereum have continued to gain market dominance while the rest of the altcoins have continued to lose market dominance. And hear me here, I'm not a hater of the altcoins. I actually quite like the altcoins, but what I do know is that when you try and put the altcoins in the leadership position, that's typically not what ends up happening. Again, as a father of two, I can tell you that if I want to change in my family, I have to change, right? I have to be the one that leads that change. Bitcoin, if it wants to change the way the cryptocurrency space is moving, it has to be that change. And so if you're looking at the altcoins flourishing, the altcoins are almost like Bitcoin's children. If you think about it, Bitcoin's, 13, 14, kind of a young parent, but it has a lot of children. It's got 26,000 of them. It's almost like a hive of bees or a cockroach colony or something. Bitcoin's got 26,061 children because there's 26,062 cryptos on CoinMarketCap. Every one of them is a child of Bitcoin. It is an offspring. It is a duplicate. It is a descendant of Bitcoin. And so if Bitcoin is going to be successful, its children, its cryptos are going to be successful. But if Bitcoin is not doing too well, then unfortunately those children probably aren't either. And so when we look at Bitcoin doing well, that is not a zero-sum game, as plenty of people like to argue. Bitcoin instead doing well is a multiple sum game, if you will. When Bitcoin does well, it is going to lead to there being positivity in the altcoin space. And if you look at the market dominance, you see that happen every single time Bitcoin's market dominance goes on a rally. We saw Bitcoin's market dominance here in June of 2017, right before I got into the cryptocurrency space. Went from 38.7% all the way up to 61.8%. If we look at the chart, that rally back then took place starting right about here. Right here, Bitcoin's market dominance took off and it rallied all the way until the end of the bull market. I think you can see what happened to the rest of the altcoins because during that time, looking at the the market capitalization excluding Bitcoin, you can see during that time in 2017, when Bitcoin did well, when its market dominance did well, total market capitalization excluding Bitcoin went from, in that time period, $64 billion to over $500 billion. Let me just say that again. In 6 months, the altcoin market, and by altcoin, I mean everything but Bitcoin. Everything but Bitcoin, market capitalization excluding Bitcoin, when Bitcoin's market dominance rallied by 50%, as far as it went from 35 to about 50%. It's about a 50% increase. It's about a 15% increase in a real term, right? When that occurred on Bitcoin, the altcoin's market dominance did not go down. The altcoins did not lose value against Bitcoin. No, the altcoins far surpassed Bitcoin. They increased their market capitalization by an order of magnitude. And so that's what we're going to see happen again during the next bull market, despite what the SEC is doing. If Bitcoin continues to hoover up market dominance right now, that is showing that Bitcoin is in good health. That is showing that Bitcoin is doing well in the face of onslaught against this industry, in the form of the collapse of FTX, in the form of the Securities and Exchange Commission attack, in the form of general bear market bearishness, and in the form of all of the other FUD that you have seen in this space over the last 2 years. Bitcoin's market dominance going on a rally, I believe, is the most potent bull market confirmation that we have seen to date, even though, yes, there are at least a dozen others that we have spoken about on this channel, including Lux Algo, MACD, RSI, moving averages, you name it. There's plenty of them. Bitcoin, I do believe, is entering into a bull market, and it is showing on the chart over the last 6 months. There's been a consistent track record of it increasing market dominance. And if you extend off this chart and just look into the future, I think you're going to see 50 to 60%, I think you're going to see 60% market dominance again, at least 55% market dominance again within the next 6 months. And as that continues to occur, that is going to continue to lead more and more value into Bitcoin and into the altcoins. And while it may take a lot longer for the altcoins to recover this bull market cycle because of the attack from the SEC, keep in mind the SEC is one agency that, yes, has a lot of sway, but it only has sway over one market, the United States. The altcoins will continue to flourish in the rest of the world. And as the industry goes through another bull market, these altcoins are going to grow faster than the SEC's enforcement division can. And so when we see Bitcoin going on a massive run, it is very bullish for all of the altcoins. I am not a Bitcoin maximalist, although right now, Bitcoin very well may be one of the best investments that you can make in all of cryptocurrency. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin and take a peek at how it's moving. Remember, guys, on this channel, we are trying to teach the concept of financial sovereignty. Every single thing we discuss on this channel goes back to financial sovereignty. And so I want you guys to understand when we start to talk about markets here, it is not my job, it is not my dream, it is not my vocation to just give you information. It is not commentary that I want to do. I want to educate you and inform you, yes, but more importantly, empower you to be able to go and use the skills that I have learned in technical analysis and personal finance and running my life, basically. And I'm far, far, far from perfect, but the things that I have learned that have helped me in my life, I want to share those with you. That's the dream. So just try and catch the lessons that I'm trying to share while I break down these charts. Now, Bitcoin had been in this huge descending trading channel for a multitude of months. We broke bullish out of that after BlackRock announced that they were going to file for a Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin then went on a colossal run of over $6,000. You can see that run in price action terms right here is 27%, $6,700 in 8.5 days. From that point that we topped out and Bitcoin set $31,500 as a new level of resistance, which, by the way, keep in mind, is a higher high than what we saw back here on April 14th. Excuse me, I said April 15th earlier. It was early in the morning on April 14th that we hit that local high. Ever since that point, Bitcoin has come up and tested the previous level of resistance no less than twice, 3 times in total. That same resistance level has been touched. When during the last rally cycle, we were only able to touch that resistance once. Notice that. And the other thing to notice is that when we only touched that resistance level once, Bitcoin's rally had already been going on for 35 days. Bitcoin had already rallied $11,300. The market had already rallied 58%, and the market did not have the BlackRock story to back it. What I'm trying to say is that this rally was twice as large, lasted for 4 times as long, and so therefore the bears, by the time they got to $31,000, were naturally a lot more exhausted. When you go against a resistance level, it is very important to understand the strength of the bulls and the bears. And for any of you gym goers, for any of you runners, for anyone that, plays competitive video games, whatever, chess play, whatever it is that takes effort, work, entrepreneurs as myself, for any investor, the more work you put into something, if you don't give yourself a little bit of rest, the more tired you're going to get. If you go to the gym and you work out for 8 hours, you're going to end up injuring yourself. If you go and you try and run a marathon and you're used to running a 5K, you're probably going to hurt yourself in some capacity. And so it's the same thing in cryptocurrencies. Whenever Bitcoin bulls go on a run, they need to take a break every once in a while. They need to take a rest. And how much they need to take a rest and how much strength they have left in the tank has a lot to do with the starting condition of the rally and why the rally began, but it also has a lot to do with how long the rally's been going. And so now we're seeing a difference here between this local top at $31,500 and this previous local top at $31,000. The bears were naturally much more winded at this point, because they had run for 4 times as long and they'd run twice as far. There's probably one person in this live stream chat that is going to get this reference, but who has ever played Total War Rome 2? Who's ever played that video game? In that game, you play as basically the spirit of a nation. You can play as the Celts, you can play as the Romans, you can play as the Carthaginians, you can play as all these different classical era civilizations. You can play as some of the Greeks. I thought it was a great game. Got a lot of flack for just not being developed very well. I thought it was a great game. In the Total War games, you are able to move all of the troops around. You can literally be on a battlefield with 30,000 men. You can literally reenact the Battle of Cannae for all of you historical nerds out there like myself. When you are moving those troops around, they have a little modifier on them that says fresh, winded, or exhausted. And how fresh they are, how winded they are, or how exhausted they are completely is determined by how much you've had them run. You can have your troops, you have them in these little troop units of 100 to 200 men, depending on what it is, whether it's cavalry, infantry, slingers, whatever. And you can tell them to walk or you can tell them to run. And if you tell them to run, they get exhausted a whole lot faster. The more they fight, the more exhausted they are. It's the same thing in real warfare. It is the same thing in spiritual warfare. It is the same thing in business. It is the same thing in investing. It is the same thing in the gym. It is the same thing in life. It is a natural fact that the more work you do, the more tired that you're going to get, and the more that you just need to take a break and rest. And that's not a bad thing. You're not bad. You're not lazy for relaxing a little bit every once in a while. You'll burn yourself out. That's what the bulls tend to do, and that's what the bears tend to do. They kind of just run until they burn out, and then they just capitulate and crash and then let the market take back over. But the fact of the matter right now is that since we have 3 tests on $31,000 and we only had 1 test on $31,000 back here, and considering the fact that the bulls are far more fresh and reinforced, if you will, i.e., we have that BlackRock story, and we also have the fact that Bitcoin has run, again, remember, for about 9 days, 25%, $6,300 to $6,500. Bitcoin at this point, by the time we got here, it runs 57% over 35 days. It's run $11,300, right? And don't forget that as you continue to go up in a bull market, the rallies also get parabolically exponentially larger. The point I want to make here is that while Bitcoin only spent about 8 days up at these levels, and it capitulated. It was the end of the rally. So far, Bitcoin has spent about 8 days up here, and it is still looking just fine. Still looking wonderful. I'm inclined at this point to believe that while Bitcoin may have difficulty staying above any certain uptrend, may have difficulty staying above this uptrend that we drew a couple of days ago, which I do think is going to be very important. That uptrend constitutes this high, this low, this low, this high, and I believe I can actually back extrapolate this as well down through those levels. You can see those in play right there. While I do think that uptrend is going to be very important, Bitcoin may come back down and test it. I do think that you're going to see another breakout here. And that breakout may happen a month from now. Similarly, how Bitcoin originally went on a rally to fresh highs, $9,000, 13 days, 46%. Clearly, it had a little bit more in it because Bitcoin would end up going on to not $9,200, but $11,700. 92 isn't even actually proper English, but that's 11,700 definitely isn't. Up 35 days instead of about 15. Had more fuel in the tank. But Bitcoin had to sit here and just kind of take a pause, catch a break for 23 days. Bitcoin very well may do the same thing here. An analogy that I could give here is a little bit like if you're on a treadmill and you're running. You book it like 14 miles an hour. You might want to take a break and rest, but you might not want to stop. Maybe you want to just slow down to a light jog at 6 miles an hour, and then you've got enough strength to go for another leg at 15, right? You might not actually just completely stop and let the bears take over, but just lowering the intensity for a time can be all that it takes to get the recovery that you need to go a little bit farther. I know that's true for me. I try and run every single morning when we go to the gym. And so I think Bitcoin may be in a similar state right now. Bitcoin may be lowering the intensity a slight bit, but not actually stopping so that it can rest and recover. Because remember, this is one thing that most people won't tell you, but it is absolutely true in my experience. Trading sideways is a form of correction. Because of what I just said, the exact same thing happens in real life. Lowering the intensity rather than just stopping completely can actually be a sign of a healthy exercise or a healthy rally. And so what I'm telling you today is that I do believe that a large breakout is coming, and I would use the word huge. I think that's a valid word. You know why? We rallied $11,700 last time. This time we've rallied $6,700. We have more bullishness in the tank right now than we did then. I believe that Bitcoin's going to rally at least a few more $1,000. I would not be at all surprised at this point, so long as we don't have another Black Swan event come in, especially considering the SEC's cards are boom on the table as far as we know. I think that Bitcoin has what it takes to rally at least to $32,935. That would be about $3,000 higher than where we are right now. I also think that Bitcoin absolutely has what it takes to do something very, very important, and that is to turn the level of 28,545 into support. So long as Bitcoin is able to turn this level into support, I am going to be very happy with this market. And the reason that 28,545 is so important is because if we look back into the history here, we will see that 28,545 is the bottom that we set at the previous bull market. If we establish 28,545, let me just change the color here just briefly, and I'll change it back so you can see it. If we set 28,545 here as a level of support that Bitcoin can hold, then that means that we are no longer in bear market territory below that level. We are now in bull market territory above that level. And that will be critical, huge, massive confirmation for the bulls, both in industry and out of industry, that this rally is real and this rally will end up becoming a bull market. The goal of this rally for Bitcoin is primarily and only, I would honestly say, to stay above 28,545, hold it, and establish that as fresh market structure. I do believe that'll occur. You want to know why? Following this rally, we reestablished $20,000 as market structure. Following this rally, we reestablished 25,236 as market structure. Following this rally, I do believe that we'll be able to reestablish 28,545 as market structure. It would not surprise me if Bitcoin's future was that it would rally up to 32,935, correct back down to 28,545, and then continue on another rally. This would be a relatively short movement compared to this one, but that's okay. I think the general trend to the upside will continue to march forward, and I'd like to see this uptrend and this uptrend, as in this one right here and this one right here, continue to be in play, and I honestly think they will. So, is Bitcoin close to a huge breakout? Yes. What do we mean by close? I honestly, by close, am not trying to say in the next 3 days. Although that is very possible, I think by close, what I'm trying to say is that in the next month, Bitcoin's going to go through a large breakout, and I don't think this bullish movement is over just yet. I think that we have started something huge, and I'm very, very excited. Christopher Selden said, Jeb, get Goggins on the podcast. That would be pretty cool. I'm just going to have to get over here on my soundboard, or on my stream deck. I'll just have to get a bleep button for all the F-bombs. But Goggins definitely has some good advice. I believe he's the guy that ran 100 miles. Isn't he a ultra marathon? He's the Navy SEAL, I think. The guy that was talks about how he was he was a pretty big fella, and he tried to become a Navy SEAL and he couldn't do it, and then he had to very interesting story about him. All right. Crypto Mini Bike in chat said, good morning, everyone. Rockin' Metal News said, hey, Jeb, what is up, my friend? Cryptopher in chat said, morning from Hong Kong. Shout out to Hong Kong. Elliot Coates. Elliot Coates said financial sovereignty. Yes, let's do it. Guys, financial sovereignty, if you don't know what it is, I just got to bring it all full circle to this. Financial sovereignty is this concept of having control over your finances, that you may surrender them to the Lord, and that you would be able to surrender them to the purpose that you have in your life. Not that you would be a tyrant with them, not that you would be a dictator with them, not that you would use them for good, for bad, but that you would use those finances for good, that you would be able to be generous with them, that you would be able to make profitable and wise financial decisions and investments with them, that you would be able to spend them on things that you want to do, that you'd be able to spend that money on making memories with your family, that you'd be able to use that money on donating to your church or whatever cause it is that you believe in. It's my dream that you would be able to use your finances for good. And I do believe that to use your finances for good, you must first have them under control. And so going down the journey of financial sovereignty, which I want to spend the next 20 years outlining, by going down the journey of financial sovereignty, you are going to make a radical change in your finances, yes, but it's also going to lead to a radical change in your life. Because the kind of principles it takes to have financial sovereignty, of discipline, of patience, of delayed gratification, of consistency, of work ethic, which I don't even know if it's a character trait as so much as it's just not so much a discipline, but it is just who you are. Those traits, those character traits, are going to pour over into everything. By becoming financially sovereign, you're not just going to become a better steward of your finances, that your finances would serve you rather than the other way around. You're also probably going to become a more organized person. You're probably also going to have a less cluttered house. You're probably also going to have a better marriage. You're probably also going to have a lot of things that you want right now. And the reason is, to become financially sovereign, you can't do it without those things. You cannot and will not become financially sovereign without a marriage that is in the right place. You cannot become financially sovereign with a bitter heart. You cannot become financially sovereign with a lack of consistency and discipline and work ethic. You can't become financially sovereign without humility. And so while I am here to teach you about budgeting, and I do want to teach you about investment, and I do want to teach you about trading, and I do want to teach you about crypto, and I do want to teach you about stocks, and I want to teach you about all these things, I also want to teach you that there is a whole lot more to becoming successful financially rather than just making $1 million overnight because you bought the right cryptocurrency. Make no mistake, that can't happen. I just ran into one of our viewers a week ago that told me that he had made over $400,000 by getting into an altcoin at the right time during the last bull market. I ran into him at Best Buy while I was buying this new phone. Because I dropped a dumbbell on my previous phone. That was pretty dumb. As far as financial sovereignty, maybe you don't put dumbbells down next to your phone. There's a lesson. How about that? Don't drop a 30-pound dumbbell next to your phone. That's your financial sovereignty lesson of the day. We all got to learn somehow, right? Anyway, I ran into him, made 400 grand. He was there at Best Buy saying, "Chad, what's up? I'm here buying furniture and appliances." Actually, not furniture, but appliances from a new house. Man, this is expensive. But we were able to buy the house in cash because he made that investment decision. So excited about that. So excited about that. And that's what I want you guys to be able to have in your life. Sean Regatin said, "Good morning from the smoky skies of Michigan." Good morning to you, Sean. Yes, I do know that there is quite a lot of fires in where is it right now? I don't know. I think is it Alberta? There's in Canada that are coming down. I believe there's also quite a lot of fires down in Mexico right now, having to do with agriculture. 2E Enterprises said, "Hi Jeb, Orlando, Florida loves you." Well, thank you so very much, 2E Enterprises. Orlando is wonderful. We just drove through Orlando a couple of weeks ago on Father's Day when we drove out to Kennedy Space Center for Father's Day. We got to see a Falcon 9 launch. And I tell you what, when I talk about money, we were able to do that whole trip, go to the place, do the gas, get food, have a great time on $250. We put a budget, $250. We're going to go and we're going to have a great day. One of the best days of my life. I tell you what, it was incredible. And so when we came out of Kennedy Space Center, there was a rocket launch at 5:50, something like that, 5:50 p.m. You know, you're 7 miles from Slick 40, where they were launching. I think it was Slick 40, one of the pads, whatever it is, 7.5 miles. And so my son got to see a rocket launch as close as you possibly can get without being, staff at SpaceX or NASA. And so that was really amazing. It's 2-3 weeks later, and my son still goes, Daddy, are you ready? Are you ready? Watch this. Rocket launch. And it's just so cool. So cool. That was worth every penny. That was worth every single penny. We were able to do that because we're pushing towards financial sovereignty in our own lives, and we want to share that with you. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We are going to wrap it out now. Going to get started working on Saturday's video. I do want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. If you did like the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell so you won't miss any episodes of Coffee and Crypto or Climate of Crypto. It goes out on Wednesday and Saturday. Make sure you sign up for Lux Algo using coupon code JEB30. That's JEBB. 30 for 30% off at checkout. And I think you're going to be very glad that you did get Lux Algo because it's really going to help you a whole lot. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it out for today. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling.